Jack was saying, it's a fixed 6, so they have to really iron everything out with the 6 players they have, whereas we have Org can make some substitutions here and there.
Absolutely, and the big one with Numlock coming in, I think, is that he's better known, I think, more for his Winston play than he is for his Ryan play. Fusions was a huge Reinhardt player, and I remember actually at their lowest last season, Eichenwald was not a good time for them. They were playing triple DPS with Fusions on the Winston. It was a bit of a mess for these guys. Having that reassurance that Numlock is an experienced Winston is going to help them out a lot. This comp they're rolling out with here is their version of the counter to GOAT, bringing out the Sombra Doomfist you've come to expect. No Diva though. Happy Cool playing on that Hammond is a bit of a different one. They are still one of the only teams that do it.
Already going into the first fight, Box found his first frag, taking out Chubbs, and Happy Cool on the Wrecking Ball, moving away from his signature Diva as they have control of the point, looking for that environmental kill. He's going to swing around the outside. Kanga finding Numlock to Mikey A, leveling out onto his former teammate Bocket, taking him out on the Zen. We have Org, shaky start, but it looks like they're starting to get control of the point. That is until Happy and Yofi, the new addition, fighting against his former team as well, trading places but not kills. Yofi taking out Mikey A as British Hurricane are losing control of that first captor. We have Org.
Yet to really find that big opening with Kib on the Doomfist, and let's not forget one of the big performers at the World Cup. Happy's already got the ultimate online here, might catch Spox out, does just walk away on low health, but Chubbs is gone.
He's knocked Spox straight off the map.
Happy was constantly going for those environmentals as well. Every single time he was crossing across the point, he was staying there for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, constantly being on the move, constantly going for those environmentals, on those knockups. You saw him get on the box at the back of point. He was just raining down hell from above. Really, really solid stuff for Hurricane. A bit shaky in the DPS front, but the tanks are doing huge work.
EMP available for Nesh into this next fight as we have Org still need to generate those ults. They're getting close, but are not there for this next fight. But of course, that could all be shut down by Nesh dropping an EMP on them. Numlock has that tunnel rage to stall that displacement, and there's the hack straight up, immediately followed up with the rocket punch from Kib into the seismic slam onto Spox's, and he's going for another, but it's just the reset from We Have Org. They knew that fight was lost.
A good solid start for Hurricane, as I think many expected coming into this. For We Have Org, again, Mikey A, one of the former players on the team here on the Zarya as well. Spox is a player that we remember from back in Season 1, was a big Widowmaker player back then. I believe it was for That's a Disband. Playing alongside Track as far as I remember. Good to see him back on the field as well. Hurricane are the ones in form at the moment.
Causing out the Transcendence from Kanga. As they move themselves onto the point. They have the man advantage there, but they've got some stragglers in the back. Numlocked in hot pursuit, jumping straight after Chubbs. They're struggling to get control of the point. Here comes the Graviton Surge to pull them together. The follow-up is there. Mikey A finding 2. Nesh tries to answer the call on the other side before he's shut down by Mikey. But Bocket, of course, found Spox's. It's We Have Org back on the point and trying to climb back up to meet British Hurricane.
That's what it came to the first time they managed to get a combo down with Mikey A and make something happen off the back of that, bringing down a couple of key members. Hurricane still managed to follow up themselves immediately after with 2 kills. But Hurricane has said, you know what, we've got as much as we're going to get out of this one now. Let's change over ourselves, go for the Goats and shut this down. And Goat is a very good counter against this Monkey Goats comp that We Have Org have rolled out with.
And moving in, sound barrier there from Yofi. It's going to be answered on the side. Kara, new addition to the team as well, bringing that in. Mikey A off the side, moving out of the point. He knows he's about to lose his shield and that armor he was given over by the Brigitte. They're sitting in the Transcendence of Kanga, pinned against the wall, but won't kill him. The healing's too strong from Zenyatta. Oh, the big shatter from Numlock to lock him down into the corner as Nesh is going to start burning through them as well. Mikey A, he hasn't got the charge to match him, and he's going to get burnt through. It's just a monkey knocking him around the corner. Wants to stall out the flip and buy as much time as possible for his team to regroup, as Nesh is still looking for the kills. He's going to chunk through that Zarya until he's locked up by Spox's, and the combo's there to finish him off. So is it for Numlock. We Have Org have control of the point, and they force British Hurricane away.
Hurricane kind of hung around a bit too long after they lost a couple of first members, and just more meant it was free ult charge over the other side. That's why you saw Happy throw himself off the edge at the very end as well and just say, nope, no more free ult charge for you. We're pretty much done here, but Kara would have collected most of that with that boof off the edge towards the end. Nesh has got that ultimate online. They can make this work.
They've already lost Pocket.
They're about to take the first
and
map.
He was at 98%, so close to that Transcendence. Kib trying to turn it around. Eaton grabs self-destruct going off the map, so misplaced by Krems. But Numlock, he's jumped off the map himself, so they're still missing a tank. Nesh has that Graviton Surge, pulls it onto the floor. They're not getting him off the point, and they're trying to fight through the Winston bubble, unable to get the damage. Yofi, an isolated sound barrier because of that same Winston bubble, only finds 2. We Have Org have control of the point, have control of the map, and they're going to take this first round.
They're going to put this fight out there. There are members coming back in. Bokker's finally returned with that Transcendence on side as well, keeping a couple of members top to crew around, but it's still an outnumbered fight here. We have all the ones in control. It's only Happy on the point. Just for good measure, the sound barrier is down as well. This self-destruct going to find, I was going to say no one, but he got Spox. This should be pretty much done now.
But we also missed there as well. We saw Spox's cancel Numlock shatter. He switched over to that Wrecking Ball now that he has got no ult and just wants to stall out even further. But we know how this goes, Des. Once the point's been low, it needs a miracle to get that flip over as they keep committing bodies to the point. Self-destruct on there should buy them enough time. But of course, the longer you're in overtime, the quicker it takes for it to go down and deplete. A little bit delayed, but we have Org taking over that first round.
A bit messy from Hurricane at points, surprisingly, actually. Tanks at the very start had a fantastic start to the round, and the DPS were quiet. Once they changed over to Goats, the synergy just sort of melted away a little bit as well, and even the tanks fell quiet. We have Org doing a good job of capitalizing on that, mind you, as well. A couple of missed ults on both sides. Krems, unfortunate self-destruct off the edge of the map. It's very much so what we were saying during the Bazooka Puppies and HSL game yesterday, is that both sides are making mistakes. Just one side in that round at the least was making the most, but now we go on to Command Center. Things are a bit more contained. I expect to see double Goats on both sides. There you go, keep changing over, debating you a bit there with that Doomfist. No surprises here, Command Center is Goat Central.
Yeah, he's going to switch over and go head-to-head. I would have liked to have seen Kib stay on that Doomfist. He had an okay performance in the previous round, but we've seen him perform on those dive heroes in the World Cup recently. Chav's leading charge already. Nesh gone down low. We've already lost Kib, so this might be a one fight already, but a return kill with the Flame Strike through that shield, taking out Chubbs in the head-to-head line-out jump. Mikey 8 near that 100 charge, going to cut through Numlock, looking for the back, throws out a right-click. Not enough to find the damage. Now he's got Yofi in his face with the Sound Wave to take out Spoxes. So they're missing supports. They're trading tanks. No one's got a definitive lead in this fight so far, as everyone's all over the place.
A lot of trading back and forth, both just kind of posturing on either side of the point. Like you say, neither side looking to really come out on top. A few members overextending. Both Brigitas have done it, and finally Hurricane find the way through with that pick off onto Chubbs.
Right clicks at the door, 88%, 90 climbing, so they're going to have that Graviton Surge in the next fight, especially if you keep spamming the door. Happy Cool going for the reset. He didn't have his mech, but unfortunately, that's a window of opportunity for We Have All to get back into the fight.
And come back onto point again at least. Last time around the main tank fell down very early, but they still managed to stay on point. Hurricane didn't push hard enough. The Transcendence is ready. That's a very early trans out of bot, mind you.
They wanted to make sure the team was alive for this next fight because they did lose the momentum. And that's a shatter all onto British Hurricane. We have all going to push forward. A double charge kill for Chubbs. And Mikey is there with a follow-up. Chubbs again gets the Flame Strike onto Happy Cool, who's just been demeched. And British Hurricane are in disarray.
It's like standing over a pit of piranhas all licking their lips when you press that Q button on the Zen far too early, because you know that it's going to be almost nothing online to stop you crushing them once that was down and out the way. And you saw they burnt 2 or 3 ultimates very quickly. The rally came out, the Earthshadow followed from Chubbs. Nice and easy cleanup for We Have Org, and Hurricane looking a bit messy, but they've still got 4 ultimates to play with. 5 make it. 4
ultimates, and the charge of the map is still very low. Graviton Surge pulls them together. Self-destruct's there. Where's the charge to get rid of that shield? No one to be taken out. Sound Barrier kicks off the next fight. Answered by Kanga. Kanga's Transcendence. They've all been knocked to the floor, but the healing should keep them alive. Nesh, of course, finding Chubbs. They're getting onto the point. Sound Barrier to keep it alive, but We Have Org. They're going to continue the contest. Nesh lost his shield, not his armor. No shield's coming back, so we've got the recharge. Yofi finding a double. Spoxes and Mikey A. This replacement for Funny Astro, putting in the work on British Hurricane to get them the flip.
Hurricane do the right thing this time though and pressure hard. As soon as that main tank was gone, they went in and forced ult out of the other side. So really good way to deplete all of that ultimate economy We Have Org on side. Hurricane, they managed to retain most of theirs. And that's what confused me. We Have Org lost the main tank. Kanga, despite saying Bok was too early in the previous fight, Kanga was too late on using his Transcendence and couldn't save his main tank. They should have backed out there and then conceded the loss, but they continued to burn 2 or 3 ultimates in that fight, whereas Hurricane were just like, sure thing, we'll take this point for free.
Well, Nesh is trying to take the point for free again. He's going to put that against the wall. Everyone's going to full retreat. Mikey A going to pop that protected barrier, keep himself alive. They lost 1 member. They're so close to the spawn room. Why waste them? Why waste the opportunity? Why feed more ult charge into the Hurricane machine?
Yeah, We Have Org need to be really careful not to get kind of comboed into rotating ults here as well. That Earthshadow's online, the Transcendence is there for protection. Not too far off the Sound Barrier and that rally as well, but they do have their own Transcendence to play with as well as the Graviton Surge. They can get this down without getting combo. This could be the win. There we go. Did it get eaten? Yes, it did.
Well, Shatter was already wasted by Numlock, so they traded ult for ult. Here comes the Transcendence to fight against each other as they sit in that Venn diagram on the floor. Who's going to find the overlap in healing? Nice flip from Numlock. Answers the Shatter by blocking it out. Chubbs being knocked back by Yofi to buy more time, but it's only delayed the inevitable as We Have Org pushing back against British Hurricane. They're going to get them off this point and get the flip at around about 85%, I reckon.
This round at least is a lot closer. Hurricane definitely fighting back a lot more. Admittedly, it's been a Goats versus Goats round where they don't have that 55% kind of advantage at the very start. Sparks, though, got to give it to him as well. A pretty good round in the Brigitte so far. Both of them going a bit deep at points and getting picked off by the other side, but they are getting those crucial bashes down. In that fight there, it wasn't the bash that did it though. Numlock dropped the shield as he jumped backwards, and 2 members were in front of his shield and got caught out by the Shatter. Bit unfortunate, bit of miscommunication you might say across the team.
Old advantage definitely in favour. We have all coming into the final fight. Material Chubb's very far forward. He's going to fall back into his team. Now they're going aggressive with the Amped up. To get there, there's the sound barrier for British Hurricanes. They push back out, immediately caught by the Graviton Surge in the corner. Chubbs gets the charge. Kanga responses with the double. They are flailing through British Hurricane. And that late grab from Nesh is ultimately fruitless. The map and the round going over to We Have Org.
There's 2 maps now where Hurricane have just been throwing. This is not Hurricane-like at all. This is not the team we saw in Trials with coordinated ultimates, team play, synergy. Things like stepping a bit too far back on his own Numlocked and exposing members of his team, burning ultimates when there was no need to burn them. You'd already lost 4 members. I get it was at the very end of the round, but it happened with the earlier Transcendence as well. Just a bit scrappy in places, I think. Really, that communication is missing. Got to pull it together for map 2.
Safe bet.
Safe bet.
Fortunately not.
Hurricane are a safe bet.
Apparently the difference is when Harry goes for the safe bet, it doesn't work apparently.
Well, apparently now he's supporting and they're meant to win, so...
Well, we saw this happen yesterday with Giganteum Morning Stars. They lost the first map, then they came back, took them the distance, and then ended up winning. Not the 3-1 scoreline you predicted, but still, the outcome was the same. Morning Stars taking the victory. Unexpected presence from We Have Org, but of course we know how control maps go in Contenders. You can win that and lose the rest of the series. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to bring you map number 2 and see if that changes the pace. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders Europe. We're in the second map of British Hurricane versus We Have Org. And surprising a lot of people, We Have Org have the lead so far after, shall we say, a quite scrappy first map from both teams.
It's like we said before the break. Lots of ultimates just being thrown out randomly by both sides. Late transcendences, early transcendences, self-destructs that go off the map, you name it. Pretty chaotic first map, but as we said, Control often is the scrappiest of the maps you see in a series. We've seen teams win map 1, it seems to be the curse of Contenders Season 2, and then go on to lose the next 3. So Hurricane will be hoping for that outcome. We have Org, they'll be hoping to try and build this into something more successful going into map 2.
Imagine We Have Org can go up 2-0 in the half, and of course, then Barney back in the map pool, and we're going to see it right now for the first time in Season 3. Shall we say.
And last time, it was only CIS Hope, now Windstrike, who were playing a lot of Torbjorn. But I've heard a lot of whispers of teams who have been thinking about using it on this first point. Many teams and coaches, dare I say, bragging, saying, well, we managed to full hold all these teams using a Torbjorn strat on first point, so maybe we see something creative come out around that first point. It's always been one of those ones where last season we saw a lot of play around teams trying to play on the high bridge and then falling back into alley, only into the receiving hands of someone like a Sombra ready to hack them and kill them immediately. There's lots of micro-nuance play around how a defensive team can pull back safely and how aggressively the attacking team want to force it.
Let's have a look at what British Hurricane are opting to run into this, Des. We've stuck on the naming convention of what this composition actually is. The tentative one that British Hurricane are running
Goats.
with. Monkey Goats is what you're going to go with? You're going to say it's Monkey Goats?
Yeah, I think it's the most familiar because it literally is just switching out Winston for Reinhardt in the Goats comp.
Fair enough.
It plays differently, but I think it's the most identifiable way you can describe it.
Eat your heart out, Mountain Goats fans.
Or Floats fans.
Or
I betrayed you all. It was all a debate.
You can see the spy checking already happening for Mikey A. They're not sure about where he is. They know he's probably going to be around it. Oh, no, they just ran into him. Yofi got him and immediately going to get himself out of there. Don't mess with the DJ when he's in full motion.
It's like a game of Spy Party at the start of these rounds with Sombra running around. It's crazy. It's like 2 games. There's Overwatch and then there's Spy Party.
High ground being taken over by Haffy and Numlock. They're just misloading them away. And wow, Spox has been taken out by Bocket already. That's probably going to be the point going over immediately. The British Hurricane without that DPS. They've got control. Nash follows up with the kills on that McCree. And it's all over. British Hurricane coming out in force.
Not quite sure why Krems wasn't with his backline there, but the supports and Farah were completely alone. Admittedly, Bok doing the work there and picking off the Farah at first, but Anna and Mercy completely alone on the high ground, got dived on. That's the strength of dive kind of coming to fruition, you could say. I'm not quite sure, like I say, where the tanks were for We Have Org, but that point was given over very quickly. They're going to switch and match the same thing now, going over to Monkey Goats.
Monkey Goats, of course, mirror matchup. Ult charge actually in favour in some elements that We Have Org, but for the whole, it's going to be British Hurricane with that lead. So a couple of fights could swing it back in their favour, but British Hurricane have the momentum and they're pushing against them. Already, you see a committal from Chubbs into the back line, and he's going to get out safely until Happy Cool comes in and sweeps him up with that patented Diva Broom. Bocket extremely low from the self-destruct. Will get picked off by Spoxes. They're fighting off the point, trying to clear a path to walk it in slowly. The kill's coming in favour of We Have Org. Mikey A found Yofi. It's a high-charged Nesh firing at the right clicks, but stunned up by Spoxes. British Hurricane have gone into full retreat, and they're going to have to try it again.
It's a very weird world when Spoxes on the Brigitte can get in range to kill Bok on the Zenyatta. Really, he should have been sat much further back on the high ground, but instead was playing a little bit too close to the action and got stung for it.
He couldn't because of the self-destruct that went over the top from Krems.
Oh, this was a good 5-10 seconds before that came out. That's the crazy part.
Interesting stuff coming out so far. Mikey A, getting that charge up, needs to get himself that Graviton Surge. Nash has been taken out. He's not getting any charge anytime soon. Kara, we don't want to find him as Spoxes moves in close proximity. Got a Graviton Surge to start swinging away the fail. Kanga can get taken out. Numlocks as they push around the corner. Spoxes in hot pursuit of British Hurricane, chasing him all the way to the spawn room. We Have Org have a serious ult advantage over them now.
It was a really nice ult as well because they stuck it onto the wall and half the members were inside the doorway and the Zenyatta was on the outside with his ultimate, so despite having the Transcendence on, the healing wasn't there. Yes, it was a Winston using Primal Rage, it was 1,000 health to burn through, but the member went down and that's what counts. When your main tank goes, the fight can be won.
That's super unfortunate for Krems. He couldn't quite get out there, having to use the self-destruct early to get the mech because he got stunned as he was trying to fly away. Numlock picking the kill onto Spoxes, and that's an ulting Chubbs who's locked in the corner, going extremely low. A couple more hits should do the trick. He needs to keep Kib alive on this Brigitte. And we're on board with Bucket, who's firing those orbs. Transcendence coming out early from Kanga to keep everyone alive. Sound barrier to answer. Box still needs a little bit of time to get his own. Earth Shatter comes down through the payload to find Mikey A. He's no longer in the fight. Kib's going to be the one to clean it up. Kara moving on to the payload, and Kib is onto the backline, just going to swing away. Kanga trapped between two shields, nowhere to go. They're stalling for time, but British Hurricane have got this back in motion.
Did take a while, mind you. That insta cap on the first point made you think, oh no, this could be a very, very healthy time bank coming into the third and final point. But we have held them here for a couple of minutes there, won a good few fights off the back of it as well. Hurricane didn't have to commit tons for that. They've still got 3 ultimates online, so they should be able to quite quickly push in and capture the second point as well.
We're going to the home stretch of checkpoint B. 2 minutes 40 on the clock. Still got a Graviton Surge from Mikey A as they're sending Chubbs in early onto the back line. He's isolated himself, stunned up by Kib. There's the protective barrier at the end to make sure he gets away. Going in, and a late Graviton Surge being fired. I believe that actually got eaten up, but it's not going to be eaten for Mikey A as they pull them all together. Kills coming in. It's all looking white in the kill feed as Krems, Chubbs, and the tanks from We Have Org going to sweep British Hurricane away, with only 1 ult committed and 1 ult wasted.
That was absurd damage because Numlock was stood there then with the Transcendence right next to him being healed by that 300 health a second, and his health bar was still dropping. There was no anti-nade, it was just sheer damage coming out of the We Have Org side to burst him down, even when he had one of his flanks covered with his shield up there. So great focus fire coming out of We Have Org. Once again, they hold Hurricane back at the second point. I thought with 3 ultimates online it'd be theirs to win, but now We Have Org have got the Transcendence online. Bucket is nowhere near his.
We're going to have a self-destruct, could go over the top. Halfkill's got it available. Numlock's close to getting that Earth Shatter, but they're stunned up and knocked up. Krems taking out Numlock, and he had no response. So British Hurricane have to cower in fear. They can't possibly fight this GOATS matchup when they're 1 member down. 1 minute 30 on the clock, and We Have Org know that. They want to burn as much as possible by taking all the ground away from the British roster. They're going to retreat, knowing that Spawn is going to be working against them.
And I criticised Spoxes a couple of times for a number of missed stuns on the first map, but that stun there was key to make sure Numlock went down, got the stun in, made sure the shield was out of the way, and that's why Krems managed to secure that kill, and they delayed them for another 30 seconds. We're into the final 60 seconds almost here, Tridd, and right now, apart from Chubbs going down, I thought it'd be We Have Orgs. In fact, that's 2 huge kills coming through for Hurricane.
Final 60 seconds of the game, final 5 seconds of Chubbs' life as he pushed away. Kanga's gone down without using that Transcendence. British Hurricane are in control. They should be able to get checkpoint B of this, and I don't think Kanga's want to commit that Transcendence just to stall out for time when he's got point C to worry about now.
Well, Chubbs almost literally put himself in a monkey cage there, surrounded by 3 walls, a ceiling, and then someone who was standing in front of you, a diva, quite happily gunning you down. So, not the best place to put yourself in, I think. Did end up costing them that because until then, he'd been playing relatively well. And if you keep an eye actually on the dives coming out of Chubbs, there are a few late bubbles coming out of Mikey A to make sure he's safe, but British Hurricane aren't capitalizing and aren't killing him quickly enough.
Numlock's been forced back already. There's a good grab. There's the Transcendence from Kanga. Happykill's not in position, but there was enough to delay the shield. Chubbs going to be the person to be killed off by that bomb. As Happykill's going to move back around again. Flame Strike on the spots as he's in the face. He's trying to block away any hiding potential that might be there for Mikey A. Sitting on that ground still, he's going to be the saving grace for We Have Org in this next and possibly ultimate fight.
Smart play once again. Happy just drawing enough attention, playing around the Mega as well, so that if he did need to slink back and get himself to full health, he did. Got a bit of burst healing out of Kib as well. Going from 150 HP all the way to full HP. Good luck bringing her down.
Numlock's just waiting at the door. He's got a shadow in his pocket, but they're coming from the other side. Wants to keep them away. Protective barrier's going to keep Chubbs alive. Throws the shot down. Missed timing by Chubbs. Immediately going to find 3 on the back line. Graviton Surge coming out and locking them onto the payload, but Kanga can't possibly get in the face. Gives a protective barrier over. His final help for his team. Mikey A going to be taken down shortly afterwards.
It's Boxes I gave praise to on second point. Now I got to give it to Kib. It was more like a drive-by stun because he kind of. It's almost like when someone runs in off screen on a TV show and hits someone and then runs off the other side. He basically ran in, stunned Chubbs, got the shield down, and let that shatter connect and bring everyone else down incredibly quickly. So well played by him. That's the key thing in GOATS, is that you have to keep an eye on the Brigittas. If you can get the shatter going and the stun from the Brigitta at the same moment, that's when you've kind of achieved the peak of GOATS, shall we say.
Yeah, T-boning a Reinhardt is probably the most satisfying thing you could do as a Brigitte.
Not for much longer.
Well, I mean, that's PTR, Des. That's not guaranteed to happen, mate.
I'm pretty sure it's coming, I won't lie.
It kind of needs to, actually. It's very obnoxious to be a Reinhardt and just, well, I guess I don't get to play Overwatch for the next couple of seconds. Oh, no, I've been Earth-shattered, and then there's an Ana all the way across the map who lands that sleep dart, and then your chain CC'd.
There was a brilliant clip. Did you see it?
Yes, the one in King's Row where
charged, slept, stunned by Brigitte, stunned by McCreen. It was like,
Roadhog hook as well. It's just everything just coming out. Reinhardt's, man, they have it rough in the current meta. Unless you have a good Zarya as your wingman.
It's been rough for a while. I mean, even with the Zarya, like, that shield isn't really strong enough to keep you alive for most of that burst. You saw in the last round them bursting straight through the healing, coming out of the Transcendence onto Numlocked. You can burst through a shield in probably less than a second if you're quick enough.
I was told there would be Torbjorn, Des. Why is there no Torbjorn?
I know. I'm kind of disappointed it hasn't come out yet, but don't worry, there's still several more weeks to go. We'll see it at some point.
Windstrike, they were known for playing it pre-rework. Eng, always pulling out a Torbjorn on Lombardi. We might see it from them more than likely. Could they be running similar composition? Hang on a minute, what's going on with We Have Orcs? Spox is on the Roadhog.
Yeah, Roadhog more like going for the grab. This is more for vertical threats, so rather than running something like the Winston, you want the Rhine there so you have the protection on the ground itself, I think. They're just using it there to have the threat of that grab. Because if you catch someone and pull them in, chances are they're going to die pretty quick. You've got a Brigitte stun, you've got the damage for everyone else around them. Good luck dealing with that.
In my case, also on that Sombra, he's not with the main party. I'm wondering where he's off and what he's trying to accomplish on his solo mission. No doubt, we're trying to find an isolated support he can get a pick off on.
Bit of scouting as well for the team as well, so they know what's going on. If they can get a hack onto Numlocked here, this could be huge.
Well, he's off to the side. He's got a protected barrier. He's in the middle of everything, moving as far away from Mikey A as he can. There's just building up charge against a team that's locked inside that small, confined area. And the shield from Chubbs can only last so long.
I keep on missing with even with these hooks going across as well. Numlocked is constantly just breaking line of sight so it doesn't connect for long enough.
Here comes the emergence with the Coalescence. Happy-Cool taken out mech by that. Spox is coming in, and the Coalescence keeping everyone topped up as they move back onto the point. Healing Orb was there, but it wasn't enough for Chubbs, and Nesh going to find that kill. And he's found another onto Spox's 2 tanks down. There's only one more to go in this composition. If you can just find Krems, you've got the triple crown. Mikey A is going to slink off somewhere like the cowardly stealthed hero Sombra is.
And Numlocked with the perfect idea there as well. He knew the Moira was what was keeping these tanks topped up, so sprung straight into the back line, beat her around a bit until she died, even with it being able to run away on the inside. And now abandoning this combo, they're going to change things up, going towards a more sort of standard setup, you might say. We're going to see that monkey dive with a bit of a Sombra mix in as well, so you change it out for the Zarya here.
When you're so close to getting EMP on Mikey A, I don't think you risk changing it out. You maybe do it after the EMP if this doesn't work. You'd like to think if you land a big EMP, you're just going to win the fight anyway, right?
That's what they're riding on, I think, is that being their kind of wing condition to play around. The problem is Hurricane is splitting themselves across both high grounds here, so the chance of you catching the whole team is going to be quite tough.
Hey, who did get caught? Kanga.
Yeah, Bok keeps doing
with
this.
his pants down. Bok just hitting those orbs constantly. He's got himself a Transcendence, and Kanga still has to try and catch up with him. Mikey A setting up the Translocator. He's got that EMP available. Wants to get very deep behind British Hurricane to catch them off guard and come from an unexpected position.
I need to see who's going to try and ult here as well, because, yeah, okay, you can try and kill the Lucio. Maybe you go for the Lucio and the Zen here as the big 2 targets. But with how spaced out they are, you'll only ever catch one of them. So it's a big call here on who they go for. It's going to be the Zen.
Right into the back corner, use that EMP. Yofi's already down, so's Bok. Graviton Surge coming out from Nesh. Pulls Spox's with a solo. They're not able to break the shield in time, so Brigitte is able to keep alive. And now it's just going to be We Have Org using sheer mass to force British Hurricane away while they wait for reinforcements. I don't think they're going to be able to get there in time to contest. They might have to just give up the point or try and burn some more ultimates away from it.
Definitely feels like it's going that way, but they've managed to get back in here as well, changing things out. Kanga straight in with the Transcendence as well. Happy so low, just makes it out alive there, and out comes their own Transcendence. Hurricane should have the advantage here, but they've got to find a pick while this Transcendence is live. Trying
to push them into the corner. Self-destruct all the way to the back. I don't know if the shielding is complete enough to keep them all alive. They were able to muster it up. Happy trapped in the corner, gonna get a DMEC coming out from there as Chubbs wants to delay. Stunned up, and he's only with 300 HP. The primal rage has been completely negated. They've just tried to burn through him. But what is going on? Krems has found that much on the back line. Spox has got a DMEC, and they're just keeping them off the point. So close with 4 bodies. British Hurricane not ready to concede just yet, but Spoxes will take out Yofi and seal the deal. 3 minutes to burn.
Very big, scrappy fight, and I don't think in this
It's not over, Des. They're still fighting because they know they want to catch the momentum and make sure the British Hurricane are sent to the further back spawn and clear this path to make it very easy into the second section.
They also want to try and avoid the stall that comes in, like what happened in the last round when you get stalled just on this corner, and Hurricane could potentially get here in time, but it's going to be a bit of a mad rush. And look at all the ultimates they got to play with here as well. Almost all 6 online. You're looking maybe at Chubbs lagging behind a little bit here, but they're sticking with it. And Sombra, she is pivotal to so many comps that you'll see in this meta. So many teams are running things like Sombra Genji, Sombra Widow in some cases, Sombra Doomfist, a very popular one. Or in cases like this, she works perfectly fine as the sole DPS thanks to that utility.
Well, they're going to use that Graviton Surge to pull them together. Self-destruct trying to delay the force that comes forward. Transcendence is there. Nesh is isolated from the rest of his team, being knocked back by the Brigitte, bullied by Spoxes as he'll go down. But Happy did find behind Chubb. Now a Transcendence for Bucket. Yofi has that sound barrier if they need to commit another support ult. If it's just not going their way, Spox is stunned up, killed up. The Rocket Flare whip from Kib should do the trick. And oh, that's unfortunate for Krenz as he can't get round the corner in time. Will get demeched, but he's right next to a ledge. He's going to go and jump off, get the reset, and it's going to burn more of We Have Org's time back.
Needs to be careful they don't get staggered out any further here. It's unfortunate for We Have Org because both supports, a bit of miscommunication. They burnt their ults at exactly the same time. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that if you're burning a sound barrier on top of a Transcendence, well, one of them is pretty much useless in that instance. They couldn't stay in the fight for as long because they didn't stagger them out. Hurricane just won that by the war of attrition.
And now they have Yofi's available for the next fight. Numlock's close to his primal rage, so he's going to pop that surely to match Chubbs, unless they can deal with it without having to commit it. They're going to use that and sound barrier at the same time. Spoxes seems to be the target. They're trying to isolate that Brigitte. Nesh there to pick up the kill. Jumping up high, going to slam the ground. He wants to wreck it as he's hitting multiple targets. Kib finds Kara as well, so the support is onto the back line, keeping him off. Mikey A isolated sound wave from Yofi, taking him out yet again. 1 minute left for We Have Org to try and hit that checkpoint and push even further in this map.
They've got the Transcendence, but so do Hurricane. We Have Org, really good defense, but it feels in this attack they've kind of had the wind taken out of their sails by Hurricane. Not least because, again, those few mistakes do creep in, like the layering of ultimates or missed dives, or Spox being isolated and picked off is probably the best example of Hurricane saying, we know who's giving us issues here, let's take him off the field.
Like what Numlock did there, he fell low enough to get some damage, but not enough to be stunned up by the Brigitte, and then leaps away to safety. The payload being pushed. Here comes that Transcendence very early on. No one wants to take the fight while that's happening. They're giving a lot of ground. Here it comes. The Graviton Surge is going to outlast that Transcendence, and they commit with the damage. Yofi, Numlock, Haftical already picking up the 3 kills, and they're committing the Grav to the fight with 18 seconds remaining. You're going to have to try and do it so scrappy, but you've just thrown away your best option of getting that fight won.
And once again, they burned through the Transcendence as well. It didn't matter, really, but...
Wait, did you see that Lucio jump across the screen? He's going for the payload. He wants to keep overtime in place. The team's well aware. Yofi's probably going to go and delay because they can't get through the front. Haftical going to be the one to kill him. No hope of overtime. The series is tied moving into the half.
Hurricane a lot more decisive on this map than they were on the last as well. Again, that kind of first push We Have Org was pretty good in terms of the defense, but when it came to the attack, didn't quite have enough there to shut Hurricane down. But an interesting map overall, I think, as well. No Tourbillon like we all hoped for. But the Sombra usage, that's exactly why you're going to see it being used. That double EMP onto the supports in the backline, you send your dive tanks in, they die. There is no way a 50 HP Zen lives through that. Absolutely
not. And you just saw the power of that composition. And Mikey A stuck onto it rather than switching off after using the EMP. Didn't have the complete success he wanted to in later attempts. We're going to go over to our analysts, though, and they're going to break down that half so far.